In the year 1803, the tranquil shores of Hitachi province were disturbed by the arrival of a mysterious vessel, unlike anything the villagers had ever seen. The craft was round and smooth, resembling an enormous, lacquered bowl drifting atop the calm sea. It was encased in bronze plates that gleamed dully under the winter sun, with a transparent dome on top, through which a figure could be seen moving. The villagers gathered in awe as the strange object came ashore. The craft was inscribed with symbols that none of them could recognize. Curiosity and fear battled within them as they watched the vessel open, and a woman emerged. She was striking, with flowing red hair that contrasted starkly with her pale skin. Her clothes were made of a fabric unlike anything the villagers had seen, richly colored and embroidered with patterns. The woman's demeanor was calm, but her eyes carried a deep, unspoken sorrow. The village elders approached her cautiously. Despite her exotic appearance, she did not seem threatening. She carried a small, intricately designed box, holding it tightly to her chest as if it were of great importance. The villagers tried to communicate with her, but she spoke in a language none could understand, a strange tongue that flowed like music, but carried the weight of history. The Shinto priest, an elderly man who had seen much in his time, was summoned. He sensed something ancient about the woman. The priest decided to shelter the woman, hoping to uncover the mystery behind her sudden arrival. Days passed, and the woman, who identified herself as Arya, remained in the village. The villagers, curious about the vessel that had brought her, began to study it more closely. The symbols etched into its hull were unlike anything they had ever encountered. The priest recognized the symbols as something similar to ancient scripts he had seen in old scrolls, but these were different, more primitive, yet strangely sophisticated. Word of Arya's arrival spread. One of them, a man who had studied ancient scripts from the far reaches of the Silk Road, made a startling connection. The symbols on the vessel bore a resemblance to those used by the Tocharians, an ancient people who had lived on the borders of what is now Mongolia and China. The Tocharians were a mysterious people, known for their distinctive appearance, tall, with fair skin and red or blonde hair, much like Arya. They had once thrived along the trade routes, but their civilization had vanished centuries ago, leaving behind little more than mummified remains. Arya's arrival and the symbols on her vessel suggested a connection to these ancient people, a connection that had somehow brought her across the vast distances of time and space to this remote Japanese village. As the scholars continued to study the vessel and the symbols, their attention turned to the box. The box was small, intricately carved, and clearly of great importance. Arya never let it out of her sight, and when asked about it, she would only respond with a sad smile, her eyes distant. The scholars speculated that the box might contain relics of her people, artifacts, or even a piece of ancient technology. But the priest, who had grown close to Arya, felt there was something more to it. He began to suspect that the box held not just physical objects, but something intangible, perhaps a connection to the spirits of her ancestors. One night, while the village was asleep, the priest decided to investigate the box further. As he approached Arya's quarters, he noticed the air around the box seemed to shimmer, as if it were charged with an unseen energy. He stopped, realizing that whatever was inside the box was not meant to be disturbed. The box seemed to emanate a sense of warning, a silent plea to be left alone.